Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter. I'm welcome you to another Degrassi poll video. Basically, ideas that come from Degrassi polls. And this Degrassi poll was one that, for some reason, I found weird. I went on the Degrassi fandom and found out there was a page called the Degrassi Black Hole. And the main picture was one of Kendra. So, inspired by that, I decided to do the top 20 Degrassi characters that fell into the black hole, as in they were off Degrassi without much explanation and all that. So using the black hole, I picked 24 characters that were basically huge. So what I did was I put them in, what was it, 4 polls? Yeah, 4 polls of 6. I tried to do them based on class and all that, because, you know, the A group would be the Emma era from seasons 1 to 7. B would be Claire from 8 to 14. C would be the Maya era for next class. And D would be something else. So I split them up into 4, and I basically said that the top 5 of the 6 people would be in my top 20. And then what I would do is I would probably pick numbers 19 and 20 myself, and then basically do 3-tier polls from A, B, and C tier. So just to let you know that the first group of eliminations was the fact that there were 4 characters out of the 24 that were not on the list. The people with the lowest votes were Sydney, that would be Joey's girlfriend, although that's a little controversial. Patrick from Degrassi High, you know, Spike's love in Degrassi High before Snake kind of came in. Arlene, you know, Hunter's first love. I thought Arlene was with Hunter in season 15, when Hunter basically went off the rails at the feminists for ruining his gaming club, and also Hannah, who was Wesley's girlfriend. Now, I did do a little bit of a shock factor. One of the polls had Lucas in the lower half, which meant that he was not eligible. I felt very ticked off, and I said that Lucas deserved to be in this video. So I switched Lucas and Hannah, that being Wesley's girlfriend. And I also determined that Chester and Fitz were the only 2 characters in the top 20 that were not put in the video. I not put in the post. So anyway, number 20 is Fitz. So Fitz was a character who basically was on a thorn in Eli's side. Fitz wanted to be with Claire. After all, Claire did lose Casey to Jenna. But anyway, Fitz had a love for Claire and all that. And then decided to bring a knife to try to destroy Eli during that Vegas night fiasco. So Fitz, you know, had issues. And then Fitz tried to get Claire back by saying that he believes in God now after being released from jail. But no, Claire doesn't believe him. And Fitz leaves without any reason whatsoever. Number 19 is Chester. Chester was a guy from season 4 that was introduced in the episode Bark at the Moon. Basically, that's the episode in which we saw Paige learning about Spitter's love for Manny. We also, you know, Paige having her own thing with Mr. Olander. And, of course, that was the episode which Raditch was turfed and had a proper farewell. Obviously, he's not part of the black hole because he got a farewell, in a sense. But Chester was introduced as a love interest of Manny. Chester would have a prank war with Emma, Manny, and Shantae during a girls' night thing. And Chester, for some reason, was off the face of the earth for some reason. He was trying to bring culture to Japanese people around. But no, that didn't work out. Why? I don't know. So, anyway, the next 6 characters all had numbers in front of them. Well, all have numbers in front of them. Now, what I say this is the C tier poll from 13 to 18. You'll hear the votes. So that was within the C tier. So here we go. The low end is number 18 is Susie from Degrassi Junior High. Now, I think Susie Rivera was a decent character on Degrassi for the first few seasons. I could also have put Fola in, because Fola, after season 1, didn't come back season 2, but Fola was like Stephanie said that Fola moved out of Toronto. So basically, Steph didn't have her best friend, that being Fola. But anyway, Susie was actually preyed upon by the substitute teacher who was in for Mr. Raj. Well, Raj had appendicitis in season 2 of junior high, and he wanted to go after Susie, but Lucy stops the teacher from getting too close to Susie. And then for some reason, she basically just fell off the face of the earth. For some reason. Number 17 would be Amy, seasons 3 and 4. Amy was portrayed as one of the love interests of many of the Candy Bandits, you know, the Jays group. Amy came to prominence in season 4 during Secret, because Amy was part of the drama club to do Dracula once Hatzalakos allows Dracula to continue. So Amy was accused of getting with Jay, and at the same time, when Jay gave Alex gonorrhea, that Alex was upset over the fact that Amy slept with Jay. And, you know, Amy was upset over Emma getting all those bracelets down at the ravine. But yeah, I think Amy was actually Sean's love interest in season 3, if memory serves me right. And then Sean stopped and went towards Ellie. Number 16 would be Ashley's dad. 13 votes in this poll, in the poll, that from seasons 1 and 4. Yeah, did I say Susie had 9 votes and Amy had 11? But anyway, out of the 100 polls, 100 numbers. So Ashley's dad had 13 votes. He was in seasons 1 and 4. Ashley's dad was part of a major storyline in the first, what was it, the 4th or 5th episode, in which Ashley learns from her mom that her dad is gay. And, you know, Ashley's dad tries to help Ashley understand homosexuality and all that. And Ashley gets it. By season 4, he's going to get married in a gay wedding. And Ashley invites Craig to the wedding. And that was the main premise in Voices Carry. The season 4 episode, which the subplot, of course, was the Dracula issue with Radish, JT, and Liberty. But anyway, so Ashley's dad gets married and all that. And, of course, that's when Craig starts to go off the rails in that premise. Number 15 with 17 votes was Lucas, season 7 and 8. Lucas seemed to be a good character. In season 7, he was portrayed as being revealed that he was the father of Mia's child Isabella, who didn't really have a father figure growing up. And JT was trying to fill that void in season 6. Mia and Lucas try to get things together, but unfortunately they have a party and there's a problem with having a 2-year-old. Mia almost loses Isabella. She kind of gets full custody of it because she tells the person that Isabella's dad is not really involved in her life. And it seemed that Lucas, for some odd reason, was kind of a deadbeat dad in a way. I actually, one time, a couple years ago, thought that Lucas was the perpetrator behind why JT got stabbed in season 6, because Lucas was upset over Mia dating JT. But it wasn't Lucas. It was Nick, who was the guy before Mia got knocked out by Lucas. So anyway, Lucas in season 8, and Jane Says, the 2-parter, we find out that, you know, he's not that great of a dad and all that. And then he realizes through Jane that, you know, Jade would be sexually molested by their father while Lucas was in the other room, minding his own business. Lucas clues in and basically boots their father from the family. And Lucas admits to Jane that he should have been there for Jane and feels terrible for what he did. However, Jane does give him a pass, saying that A, they're kids, and B, Lucas is helping her now. So that's the best part. And I believe that made Lucas believe that he needed to be a father for Isabella and to avoid someone trying to take advantage of Isabella the way Jane was. So he basically decides to be a good dad. But then, after that episode, poof, he's gone. Which ticks me off because it's like, Lucas deserved a redemption arc. and he never got it. Anyway, number 14 on the list with 20 votes was Jack, a.k.a. Imogen's girlfriend. Not Jack Simpson, but Imogen's girlfriend from season 14. I didn't really watch season 14 as much, so I don't know much about Jack. But, you know, Imogen and Jack were a decent couple, but, you know, there were issues. I think Jack had issues coming out to her parents. But anyway, number 13 on the list, and the winner of the C tier poll was Chris with 30 votes from season 3 and 4. So Chris was introduced kind of in the season 3 season premiere when Hatzelackles, who is still the science teacher, called Chris's name in Emma's homeroom. And, you know, he looked like a decent character. And then Emma, after losing Sean, decides to go after Chris for whatever reason. And Emma nearly loses Chris after her pettiness towards Sean moving on from her. And I can understand Emma in a sense. Anyway, Chris calls Emma out, and Emma feels like she's lost Chris. However, she manages to get Chris back by hook or by crook, and they date the end of season 3. However, by the start of season 4, Chris and Emma broke up. And Emma may have had eyes on Chris again after realizing the breakup was a bad idea. She probably was the one who broke up with Chris. But of course, Chris had eyes for Liberty, well, or vice versa. And for some strange reason, Emma took offense to Liberty going after Chris. But not because Emma wanted Chris back. It's because that once word gets out about Chris and Liberty, then Emma would probably feel that bad about herself, saying that if Chris couldn't make it work with me, then what am I doing? Manny feels this is terrible. This is not Emma's character. So that was the catalyst for Emma losing Manny and Liberty as friends, which led her into Paige's clique to destroy Rick, which led Paige's clique to be angry at Emma after her seemingly hypocritical way. And of course, Chris was only there to try to bully Emma after the gonorrhea thing, and then he was gone. Dismissed and all that. I think a lot of people probably were happy he was gone. And for me, here's the thing about me, is that I keep thinking that Emma was only with Chris to try to stick it to Sean and Amy, or Sean and his girlfriend. But once Sean moved on for the Candy Bandits, as it seemed, then Emma felt she had no purpose keeping Chris. I don't know. It's just weird. So that's that. So now we go to the B tier. The next 6 people are from 7 to 12 on the list. And this was actually much more wide open than I thought. So anyway, number 12 is Leah Lang from season 8, 9 to 10. Leah was a ballet prodigy from the National Ballet Society, or I don't know how they do it in Canada. Like, what's the official school? The ballet school. But she was a love interest for both Derek and Danny. And one of them is in this list. Not Danny, but anyway, 99 votes. And a bitch ain't one, because the 3 girls on this list weren't bitches. So anyway, so Leah was decent. This was around the time I stopped watching the show, so I don't know much about Leah's character, but she basically vanished. Number 11, just missing out on the top 10 by 2 votes, was Bruce the Moose, who was sporadic from season 6 to 9. Bruce the Moose would basically be Johnny DeMarco's better half, I guess, or whatever you call it. He liked to go in prank wars. He was a decent character, but, you know, he was portrayed badly. So making the top 10, making the fingers, number 10 with 15 votes was Derek, seasons 5 to 8. So Derek was basically made as a sidekick for Danny, a.k.a. Liberty's brother, mostly after JT stopped hanging out with Danny. And Danny, of course, was upset that JT wanted a relationship with Liberty. So he was mad. But anyway, Danny moved on from JT to be with Derek. But Derek had a vindictive streak. Even though in season 5, he seemed to be a good person, he's one who helped Liberty deal with her postpartum depression, especially after the fact that the baby she gave up for adoption is moving to Seattle. Derek says he was adopted too, but his birth mother made a treasure chest, a memory chest for him. So anyway, Derek helps Liberty out. Derek seems to be okay, a target of Perino's insults and all that. I think they were trying to do the same thing with like Joey and Radich in Degrassi Junior High, but no, not really. But anyway, Derek gets himself into deep trouble by trying to get to Leah before Danny does, and actually frames Danny for a crime. All that, and their friendship breaks up, and Derek in season 8 basically torments Jane for being on the football team, and was not happy when Jimmy actually decided to coach wheelchair basketball. So Eddie, no, to coach be an assistant coach for the basketball team, even though he's in a wheelchair. But Derek, you know, what he did to Jane was terrible. And he did realize his faults. Number 8 on the list. Number 9. No, I said Derek. Oh, sorry. I forgot. I have to do fingers. So number 8 is Blue. Number 8. No, that can't be right. What's wrong? Yeah, Blue's number. Yeah, okay, that's right. Blue is number 9 on the list. So Derek made the top 10. Okay, sorry. My fingers are wrong. Number 9 is Blue from season 8 and 9. I thought Blue was just a one-season wonder. That's why I didn't put him in my worst Degrassi characters list. But anyway, Blue was just basically Holly J's love interest in the post-Emma era. So he was decent. Holly J had a crush on him, but Blue treated Holly J terribly. And Holly J moved on from him. He's not memorable. Why he was in the title card despite being chopped off the Degrassi universe in season 9, I don't know. Number 8 is Miss Sove from seasons 2 to 10. I didn't know Sove really lasted that long. But she did, according to the Degrassi link. I think Miss Sove is underrated. Miss Sove was a good guidance counselor. She helped Paige get over the rape that was done to her by Dean by offering her advice. Season 4, she counsels Paige on the rape trial. Unfortunately, even though that Paige loses, Sove said that, you know, you're the bigger person, Paige, in this thing. Something that obviously was wrong because, you know, Paige crashed her car, Smear's car into Dean's car. Sove was there for advice, trying to help Ellie with her cutting, thanks to Paige trying to help her out. Sove was, I thought that Sove was trying to guilt Sean into the fact that he shot and killed Rick or something like that. Like, I know Sean had his issues after the Rick Murray situation, but she was good. She was there to counsel Darcy after Darcy's rape, Darcy being date raped, and then basically, you know, upset that Snake would force her to go into sessions. But of course, Darcy didn't really tell anyone she got raped. I think she did. I think she killed Sove, but anyway, she was upset about telling her parents. But Sove was a pretty good character. And at number 7 is Miss O. Winnie O. O.H. from seasons 9 to 13. She seemed to be a good character. She was the English and / media teacher, especially after Snake became principal. So someone had to fill in. Miss O does look at a Romeo and Juliet thing that Claire did, but Claire did it in such a way that O was not too pleased. She was a decent character, but unfortunately her downfall was when she had that inappropriate relationship with Sav, and nobody got in trouble. Sav didn't get in trouble, O didn't get in trouble. It was creepy. It was like, this was the first major student-teacher relationship after Paige and Olander. But, you know, she just fell apart. We don't know what happened to her in the wake of this whole Sav and O thing. I think no one called them out on it. That's why she got away with it. So that was that. So now we got ourselves the final 6. This is very important. This is a key top 6 that you must know about. So here we go. First off, number 6 on the poll with 7 votes was Faresa. Well, there was 126 votes in the top spot, in the top tier thing, but 7 votes in 6th place is Faresa. She was just a 1-episode wonder, but she made an impact. So Faresa was the character in season 2, and I can't remember the episode title offhand, but this was the episode in which Hazel and the rest of her tenors, grade 10s, do International Day. And there's a lot of cultures and all that. Spinner doesn't have a culture. Nobody tells him what his culture is about. Jimmy does stuff on his things. Paige is Ukrainian, Michael Chuck, and wears a very strange dress. Ukrainian dress. Gee. Which is funny. We even got to see Radich in kind of a kilt. Really? Really? Of course, this was the Radich that had the Chuck Norris facial beard thing before he was clean shaven in seasons 3 and 4. But yeah, so Faresa. And Faresa came from Iraq, I think. Remember, supposed to be right. It was insulted by Hazel for her fashion sense and the fact that you better hope Jamaica doesn't bomb Iraq. After Faresa says that Hazel can't be Jamaican because her last name Arden sounds Somalian or African, like Middle Eastern. Faresa's presentation gets splattered by some other students. Obviously, it was kind of a protest over the fact that she's allowed to school. This was like, 18 months after 9/11 when this episode was produced, so it was just anti-Muslim rhetoric and all that. Faresa gets answers. It wasn't Hazel. Raj thought Hazel was it because of Hazel's comments and all that, but Hazel was vindicated. And Hazel decides to help Faresa put the project up in front of the foyer, which meant for a week. Which means everyone will have to see it, like it or not. And Hazel shares some news that she was victimized by Muslims because she's from Somalia and she had her stuff taken away from girls and girls would beat her up. And Faresa said, yeah, guess you learned something from them, huh? Hazel then decides to tell the media class the next day about her lying being Jamaican and that the real her is from Somalia. And Terry does ask her the question why she doesn't wear the ceremonial dress and all that. Hazel says she does for prayers and on Sundays, but she's in a position she can wear whatever she wants outside. But thankfully, though, the school and the students actually accept her for who she is. I just wish Faresa was mentioned more because it sparked up a conversation that should be said almost 20 years later. So, number 5 on the list with 10 votes is Miss Kwan from seasons 1 to 8. So Miss Kwan was the English teacher who seemed to be mean to some students, but is well-meaning. This is probably what Degrassi Next Gen decided to do, trying to recreate the magic of Degrassi, junior high, which Joey thought that Raj was just being a bully to him. But Raj is well-meaning, but his methods are strange. So they wanted to recreate that with Kwan and Spinner. Spinner and Jimmy get mad at Kwan in season 1. She cries a lot. And then Kwan leaves for a leave of absence. And it's revealed that she's been working long hours. Her husband's been sick. She's been doing whatever she can. And Spinner and Jimmy do feel bad about themselves. But, Miss Kwan always gave Spinner trouble. Spinner kept trying to pass her classes and all that. She was a decent character and all that. She even allowed Emma to talk about, being a presentation and then having period blood and all that. She seemed to be a fair teacher that just dropped off after season 8, which kind of sucks in a sense. I think she was good. I could have also said Miss Kwan for my foreigners list. I should have, but fuck me. So number 4 with 18 votes is Spike. You may be thinking to yourself, are you nuts, Cutter? Why did you say Spike? Well, here's the thing. Though Spike was well featured in the first few seasons of Degrassi Junior High. I mean, no, she came from junior high to high, and then now Next Gen, being Emma's mother. She was prominent in a few storylines, trying to prevent Emma from being catfished, dating, and then subsequently marrying Snake to Emma's dismay. thinking about getting an abortion, although Emma tells her not to, all that. Trying to put up with Emma trying to find her birth father's information. Well, Emma is getting a new sibling in the world. She seemed to be the not so caring parent, but she is a good parent. Spike counseled Manny on how to deal with things in season 3 when Manny got pregnant and all that. Spike tried to help Emma out when Emma went through her zombie phase in season 4, but not really. Spike was upset in season 5 after Snake's treats with Hatzalako's kicking Snake out the door. She falls into depression. She basically puts a lot of pressure on Emma, and Emma can't handle the pressure. But Spike basically just tailed off after season 5 and all that. Kind of like Joey in a sense, but I think Spike deserved better. In season 7, she leaves for a little bit. Even though she doesn't understand about Snake's problems getting back to Degrassi, even though he's cleared of what he did to Darcy. So yeah, I just wish she had a better send-off, in a sense. Anyway, number 3 with 23 votes is, well, Hannah's boyfriend, a.k.a. Wesley, from seasons 9 to 11. I think Wesley was a decent character. He was the nerdy character. I think they were trying to capture Toby's image, in a sense, with Wesley. Wesley was just that guy who was just stuck with Dave and Connor to do music and trying to do a pogo stick thing. He was just, he was going to probably fall off like Toby did. He lasted a little bit better, in my mind. Number 2, and it was close. Numbers 1 and 2 were off by 2 votes. So number 2 with 33 votes was Kendra. The main reason why the Blackholed thing exists. So she was in for seasons 2 and 3. Kendra was introduced as someone who liked anime just like Toby, who Toby had a sick obsession over, if you will. And Kendra was not too happy with Toby smothering her, in a sense, although Toby was trying to get a girlfriend because he didn't know how to deal with girls because he thought no girl would like him. But Kendra says, give me space. I'll help you and all that. So Kendra helps Toby after Toby has his eating disorder trying to impress Kendra. She was on the floor hockey team, bad-mouthing Liberty. She was all around. And we found out that Kendra was the adopted daughter of the Masons, and Spinner was her her brother. And Spinner tells Toby, you break my sister's heart, I'll break your neck, or something like that, break your bones. So anyway, Kendra was good. And then Kendra fell off after season 3. A lot of furies happened. The biggest fury until earlier this year was that Kendra's parents who, the actress's parents learned that Kendra and Toby were going to be in some kind of sexual storyline, so they pulled her out. However, it was later revealed that Kendra was also outed because of some stupid misogynistic anti-Asian producer or figurehead for Degrassi, or CTV, if you will. A CTV network executive really hated Kendra and had her terminated. Why, I don't know. And number 1, possibly because the actor who portrayed this character died this year, R.I.P. But whatever, I'm not going to argue. With 35 votes was Dave from seasons 9 to 12. Dave was a very cool character. He was basically the guy who was trying to kiss every girl in Degrassi, if you can believe that fury. But Dave seemed to be a good guy, and he had a good characteristic to him. But, he hung out with Connor and Wesley. He was a good friend. He had a girlfriend, Jacinda, who sadly died. Got hurt in an accident, and Dave got insulted because Jacinda was taller than him. Dave did have some homophobia, especially towards Adam in season 10, and would use the radio waves to mock Adam. But after Dave got put in his place, he does apologize to Adam and grows as a person. They mentioned that Dave's dad was a police officer who was sent to patrol Degrassi in the wake of the Vegas night issues. So Dave was a little embarrassed, but Dave also was a great guy that got along with everyone. And I feel bad that Jamil French got killed in killed off in real life. I mean, like, that's just sad. It's one of the saddest Degrassi deaths of all time for an actor. I think that as an actor, the saddest thing was Jamil French, but I think Neil Hope, who played Wills, was the second saddest death. I don't know if there was any other massive sad actor, Degrassi actor from from junior high onwards to next class that died. That would probably be the subject of another post coming up soon. Probably an unpopular opinion / hot take. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you care. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a good day.